This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. A weekend series in late July. A packed house at Wrigley Field. It's game one between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. My name is Dan McLaughlin. That's Rick Horton. All 3 games and all 6 games of this road trip right here on Fox Sports Midwest. The Cardinals look at the standings, and they are 3 games out. They'll take a couple teams on that are struggling this year, and it starts today.
A chance to pick up some ground on this road trip. Normally, when you go out on a road trip, you think if we play 500, it's a good trip. But the Cardinals playing the Cubs and the Padres, who've been less than perfect at home, a chance to pick up some games on Milwaukee.
It'll be the right-hander, Joe Kelly, getting the start for St. Louis. First pitch from Travis Wood, the lefty of the Chicago Cubs, is coming up. Cubs Cardinals, a weekend series on Fox Sports Midwest.
By Bud Light Live, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Celebrating 100 years at Wrigley Field. What a great rivalry this has been. St. Louis and Chicago. A look at Mike Matheny's lineup to open up this 6-game road trip. Carpenter, Peralta, and Holiday, then Adams, Craig, and Jay, Ellis, Cruz, and Joe Kelly. So the Cardinals shortstop moving up to the 2nd spot in the lineup. And the Cardinals will face lefty Travis Wood.
7-9 record. He was an all-star, Dan, a year ago. This year, an ERA over 5. His command has not been as good.
Let's flash back. We have seen Travis Wood a number of times. This was in 2012, and the Cardinals unloaded on the lefty. 5 home runs that afternoon here at Wrigley Field. This season, if you're wondering, 116 innings. He's given up 11 long balls. 1 each of the first 5 innings against this left-hander. And the Cardinals offense would love to see that happen today, coming off a game in which they struck out 15 times on Wednesday. Behind the lefty, Travis Wood. Chris Coughlin, the former Miami Marlin, he'll man left field. Ryan Sweeney in center. Nate Schierholtz is in right. Luis Valbuena, the third baseman. Starlin Castro, another all-star appearance for him, now 3 by the age of 24. Alcantara is the second baseman. He can also play the outfield. Anthony Rizzo, an all-star. He's at first, and Wellington Castillo is behind the plate. Mike Malinsky is the home plate umpire. Mark Wegner at first. Mike Winters, the crew chief, and Andy Fletcher is at third. First full season in the big leagues for Malinsky. The wind, it's quiet right now, but we know that can change here at Wrigley Field. It's overcast. We did have a little rain earlier this morning, and hopefully the rain will stay away this afternoon.
And there's never any predicting the outcome when you play the Chicago Cubs and the Cardinals together. You put them together here at Wrigley Field. Yes, weather can be a factor, but this rivalry has been terrific over the years, and the best team on paper does not always win.
This would seem to be a road trip where you would think the Cardinals could get some traction and maybe gain some ground. You've got Chicago here. They have dropped 13 of their last 16. And you've got San Diego, a team that does not hit well, although they put up 21 runs in back-to-back games combined the last 2 nights against the Cubs.
500 ball, not good enough on this road trip. You want to pick up ground, as you mentioned, and the race is getting tighter with not just the Milwaukee Brewers, but the teams that are also coming up from behind. The Pirates, Cincinnati, not played well since the break, but they're not out of it.
Cincinnati has not won since they've come back from the break. And the Cardinals are tied with Pittsburgh, 3 games back of Milwaukee in the Central Division. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and there's Rick Renteria, the first season as the manager of the Cubs. Number of years spent in San Diego, and the first time for him to manage at the big league level.
Dan, you mentioned they've lost 13 out of 16. That coincides with the day they traded Samardzija.
And a base hit into center field for Matt Carpenter, and that's how we start the series.
Very patient hitter is Matt Carpenter. He looks for the pitch he can drive. We mentioned Wood has been throwing too many pitches in the middle of the plate. There's another one. Right down central. Carpenter drives it up the middle.
Now Johnny Peralta. So the Cardinals trying to figure out any combination to get some offense going, and they put the shortstop in the second spot in the lineup. Travis Wood is a 27-year-old from Little Rock, Arkansas. 4th season with Chicago. He spent 7 years in the Cincinnati organization, and he was part of the Sean Marshall deal. The big lefty now working out of the pen for the Reds.
Cardinals don't run a lot, Dan, as we know, but Travis Wood's going to make it even tougher. He has a very good move to first base. He's quick to the plate. Castillo, the catcher, throws better than average, so you wouldn't expect the Cardinals to do much in terms of stolen bases, but there may be times with all the double plays they've hit into that they use the hit and run.
2 balls and no strikes,
and this would be a count to do it. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 are the classic hit and run counts, even 1-0. When you believe the pitcher has to come over the plate with a strike, something the hitter can handle, put on the ground, you know he's going to make contact. It's not a wipeout pitch situation. Hit and run would work right here.
Popped out. Luis Valbuena makes the catch. He could not hit that any higher. That is a big league pop-up if you've ever seen one.
Cal Eldred calls them home runs in a silo. I'm not sure what that means, but
he and a guy from Iowa.
He's from Iowa. He knows.
Yep.
Probably hit some home runs in silos before.
Now Holiday, and yesterday marked the 5-year anniversary of when the Cardinals made the trade and He made his St. Louis debut. We were in Philadelphia at that time. He went 4 for 5 in that game with a double and an RBI. And today playing in his 742nd game as a St. Louis Cardinal. His average as a Cardinal, 301. 120 home runs. He's 20 shy of 500 RBIs. Here's the 0-1. Good rip by Holiday. And it's 0-2.
Perfect indication, though. That was a hittable pitch from Travis Wood. And his best pitch is a cutter that he throws in on right-handed batters. He'll throw it about 32% of the time. And that's the pitch that's betrayed him a bit this year. Last year, the ERA 2 points lower. A whole 2 runs lower at this time. And he's just not getting that pitch in enough. And he's not throwing enough strikes with it. He's not getting enough outs with it.
In the dirt last year, he went 9-12, was an all-star, an even 200 innings. You may remember he made a brief start late in the season to get to that 200 inning plateau. It was against St. Louis. He only walked 66 last year, and this year already at 52. So that backs up your point about his lack of command. We'll do it again.
That command really goes 2 different ways. It's not just throwing strikes and keeping from walking hitters, but are you missing over the heart of a plate on a pitch that you're trying to get inside? That pitch bangs off the mask of the catcher Castillo. But his goal really is to get that cutter so it's almost off the plate by the time the right-hander's swinging at it. He wants to get it right in on the hands. A lot of teams will pitch Holiday inside, but you got to get it in there. You have to be ahead in the count for it to work.
Here's 1-2. Pitching him in, missed, 2-2.
That a good cutter, good movement, but Holiday wasn't biting.
A short lead at first by Carpenter, the 2-2. Holiday rips it into center field. That's a base hit. Carpenter will stop at second base. Good at bat.
And what do you guess? 103 miles an hour off the bat. Classic Matt Holiday bullet.
We have seen 2 line drives up the middle into center field off of Cardinal bats. Carpenter and Holiday. And Rick, the line drive percentage is at 24%. So 24% of the time, Wood is seeing the ball getting hit very hard against him. That's 14th in the league.
We've talked about one of the new sabermetric stats that's gaining popularity, BABIP, which kind of measures what the batting average of balls in play is. And I think it is more important, in my mind, the line drive percentage that the pitcher's given up. Because if you give up a lot of line drives, they're going to find holes. You just can't help it, especially when they hit the ball as hard as Holiday did. Occasionally it's going to be right at somebody, but you give up that many line drives, Dan, you're going to have a long, long year.
Hit to second, and they throw it into left field. Carpenter will score. St. Louis on top here in the first, 1-0. Alcantara to Castro, off his glove, into shallow left, and Carpenter scores.
I'm not sure that was that bad a throw from Alcantara. Castro maybe thinking ahead a little bit to get that second out. Well, it was high as he was flying off the base, so not a good throw, but I still believe if you're Castro, you got to make sure of an out there. And you have to make sure you catch the ball, number one.
And now it is Alan Craig. It's a fielder's choice, and an error on Alcantara is second. Craig, good numbers against this lefty. 9 for 28 and a pair of home runs.
Some growing pains with the Cubs, Danny.
I'd say so. Alcantara, they have the outstanding farm system, recently ranked after the deal that they made with Samardzija to get some young prospects back. Ranked number 1 And they have the #1 prospect in baseball now, and Chris Bryant, who's a big, strong, home run hitting third baseman.
6'6", maybe projected to be a corner outfielder eventually. But he, according to the Cubs guys I talked to before the game, they like him the most, even though some of the other names, Addison Reed is the guy they got from Texas, but you throw in Javi Baez, a name of the future too. They've got not just good prospects, but some of the best prospects in baseball. They're hitting 3, 4, 5 in the lineup right now for their AAA club.
1-2 the count on Craig. Allen now at 242 on the year, 7 home runs, 44 RBIs. Tavares sits today with the lefty on the mound. The Cardinals have 4 lefties on the bench. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Adams a runner at first. Holiday at second. Jay on deck, and a 2-2 pitch to Craig. Here it comes. On the inside corner, strikeout of Allen Craig.
Allen's had good numbers against Travis Wood, the 9 for 28 with 2 home runs, but a little off balance in that at bat, and he gets painted on the inside corner, or perhaps off the inside corner. It's been that kind of year, hasn't it, for Allen? It's a fly ball the other day. It's a dead center field, 399 feet, and it's an out. Seems like he's got called out a couple of times on pitches, and I'm not making excuses for him because he hasn't been himself, has not been good this year. But just seems like when it rains, it pours for Allen Craig this year.
Here's Jay, 10 for 25 against Wood with a pair of doubles. You mentioned off balance. I noticed a couple of those pitches. You know, he's out in front. Even when he's taking a pitch, you can always tell when a guy's locked in how they take a pitch. And sometimes he doesn't seem to be all that comfortable. Here's an 0-1.
We saw him do that against Jay Odorizzi during the homestand. There was a pitch that was 1.5 feet outside and maybe 2 feet high, and he still almost fell over taking the pitch. It's just not typical of Allen Craig. Just almost as if he's not seeing the ball well.
Jay did go, and it's 1-2.
Pitcher's job is to get a hitter off balance. And if they're off balance on their own, with their own mechanics, you're about halfway there. Then you just have to make a good pitch. He's continuing to work. There's no question about that.
Here's a 1-2. Inside to Jay. It's turned out to be a long inning for the lefty, Travis Wood, at 25 pitches. The 2-2 is hit down the left field line. That's fair. Into the corner it goes. Holiday will score. He'll wave in the big man. Here comes Adams. Jay on his way to third, sliding in with a triple. 3-0 St. Louis. It's out of our vantage point. My guess would be that Coughlin had some issues digging it out of the corner.
Another good at-bat with 2 strikes for the Cardinals. 3 hits in the inning. Wood not able to put the Cardinal hitters away. John Jay sensing 3. And as you mentioned, Dan, it's in that left field corner. This is beyond our sight line. And former National League Rookie of the Year, Chris Coughlin, couldn't field it cleanly.
So it'll be a double and an error. 2 RBIs, though, on the play. 2 errors in this inning. Extends the inning to Mark Ellis. Good cut. Foul back. Ellis hitting 188. No home runs, and he's driven in 12. 13 runs allowed in the first inning in 21 starts for Travis Wood.
So interesting to think about the synergy between defense and pitching. Wood has had a rough year. Cubs know that. The Cubs have had a rough year and a rough weekend. As you mentioned, they've lost 13 out of 16. But if the defense was better, this inning would be much better.
Absolutely.
For Travis Wood. So it kind of all goes together, spirals negatively and can spiral positively when things are working.
You've been on teams that have added good players. You've been on teams that have said, well, we're going to throw in the towel this year. And that's it. Even though the Cubs are not going to win the division with Jeff Samardzija or Hamill, it doesn't matter. But it is deflating to a team. And as you mentioned, they've dropped 13 of 16 since that deal.
Yeah, I don't know if they're throwing in the towel, but they're saving their energy for a different fight. That's for sure. Probably 2 years from now. I think next year would be a little ambitious for this Cubs team. Rick Renteria, I think the right guy for this spot. Everybody very happy with the job that he's doing. And very similar records over the last 4 years for the Cubs, but these young players they have coming up. Now again, they're just names right now. They're good names.
Rizzo extends to make the catch. All 3 runs unearned, but Joe Kelly and the Cardinals, after a half inning, lead at 3-0. Travis Wood and the Cubs trailing after a half inning, 3-0. Lineup for Chicago. They're hitting .237 as a team. Coghlan, Alcantara, Rizzo, who leads the league in home runs. Starlin, Castro, Valbuena, Castillo, Sweeney, Shearholtz, and Wood. They'll face righty Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly is our Kia starter, and he is coming off one of his most impressive starts of his career against the Dodgers on Saturday.
Went 7 solid innings in this game. In that game, just 4 hits, 1 walk, which I think was a great improvement over his start before that. He had command issues, which are to be expected after his long stint on the disabled list, and I mean, it had to feel like an incredibly long stint on the disabled list from Joe Kelly's point of view. With a hamstring, you think maybe 6 weeks, but he just kind of kept re-injuring it, and the Cardinals really need him to be good. They need him to be good the rest of the way. Last year around this time, he was probably one of the team's best starting pitchers, and the Cardinals could use that boost from Joe Kelly.
So 6th start of the season, 3rd since coming off the DL back on July 11th. And here is Chris Coghlan. He's been swinging a hot bat. He's reached base, a hit, being hit, or walk in 18 of his last 19 games. They've just turned on the lights here at Wrigley Field. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Kelly was saying the other day after his start against the Dodgers, media was in to visit with him. He went 7 innings, as you mentioned, Rick, and they said, well, what was the deal? You look great today, and previous start you struggled. He said, I've worked on a few mechanical flaws. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I know what they are. Derek Lilliquist does, and Mike Matheny, and that's enough. But he said he felt more confident going into that start, having fine-tuned something in his delivery.
One of the things we noticed early in the season when he was so good before he got hurt is he had really kind of slowed down his mechanics a little bit. He's much more balanced at the top of his delivery, not really stopping there. You don't need to do that, but he's gathered at the top of his lineup or his windup, and he's not so far out in front that the arm angle maybe changes because of the leg push. He's very much in control of his delivery in my mind, and maybe that's part of what he and Derek Lilliquist were working on. Very slow, deliberate, and then explode.
3-1 is hit in the air out to right. Craig, now Jay, takes charge and makes the play. So in a 3-1 pitch, Coghlan flies out to right center. Let's take a look at the Cardinals defense around the horn, presented by Dobbs, with Holliday, Jay, and Craig in the outfield. Carpenter at third, Peralta at short, Ellison, Adams on the right side, and Tony Cruz another start. He's behind the plate. In his career at Wrigley Field, an ERA just over 2, and a nice scoreless streak, consecutive innings of 17 1/3 for Joe Kelly against the Cubbies. Switch hitting Esmende Alcantara, who is thought of as being a very good prospect, but not near the level of the group that you mentioned earlier.
They really have 5 or 6 guys that are in the top 100 in terms of prospects throughout baseball, so they've already got their team kind of lined out. And it's interesting that Castro may be kind of an odd man out, potentially a trade possibility with him. I think they're certainly happy with Rizzo on the right side, but a couple of these prospects are shortstops.
Drops down the bunt. Cruz spins, throws, not in time. He can run. That's one of the facets of his game. And a one-out base hit as we turn to our Toyota keys to the game.
As we ponder whether that ball might have gone foul had Tony Cruz not caught it, I'll give you the keys to the game, and we'll start with the guy at the plate, Anthony Rizzo. He is red hot. He has 8 home runs in his last 14 games, a 9-game hitting streak. But he's not hit Joe Kelly very well. But if you can control Rizzo, I think you control the offense. And laying off the cutter, to what we were talking about with Travis Wood, making sure you don't swing at that pitch off the plate inside, as Holliday let the pitch go that was off the plate, got one over the plate and lined it to center field.
See if the Cubs want to be aggressive against Tony Cruz, since Yadier Molina went down against Cruz and Kataris. Teams are 10 for 10 in the stolen base department. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Anthony Rizzo. 1 ball, 1 strike. So 25 home runs, 55 RBIs. That leads the Chicago Cubs. He has taken the lead of the National League in home runs with those 25, and 2 back is Giancarlo Stanton of the Miami Marlins at 23.
First time All-Star, but it won't be his last.
No, he can hit.
Dan, you mentioned earlier that the lights have come on here at Wrigley Field. We found out, you and I, before the game, that 26 years ago today, they turned on the lights, not for the first game here, but for the first practice under the lights. They actually had a nighttime practice to see what it would be like. They sold tickets to it, 5,000 people here at Wrigley Field, just to experience the first night of lights at Wrigley Field.
5,000 fans, $100 per ticket.
1,100 carry the 0.
The first night game was August 8th. In 1988. By the way, Anthony Rizzo was born in 1989. The first night game, it rained. Rizzo broke his bat. It's popped up into shallow center. Making the catch, Peralta. If you control the middle of this lineup, you get the feeling you've got a very good chance to win this game against Chicago.
Absolutely. They've had trouble, especially at the bottom of their lineup. Sweeney, playing today in center field, has been a good defender, but he's just barely hitting 200. And Shearholtz, who had such a good year a year ago, is actually under 200, though he has hit Joe Kelly better than anybody that we're seeing here this afternoon.
There's Shearholtz there at 199. Batting 8th in this lineup. 2 outs, runner at first. Here's Starlin Castro. Pitch out and undoing. Castro with 108 hits. First among National League shortstops. That's second in that category for shortstops in all the Major League Baseball.
Every time I see a pitch out that doesn't work, I think of Tom Wallace, who was the best bench jockey I've ever heard. He chirped from inning 1 to inning 9. It'll be a wild pitch on Joe Kelly. But if the pitch out didn't work, he would scream at the top of his lungs, "We don't run on pitch outs." Just yell it every time. And it was funny every time.
Well, the thing is, too, is you don't realize it watching on television or even in the seats how much jawing back and forth is going on in a Major League game from the teams.
I wonder if it's as much as it used to be, but it certainly still goes on.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd love to have some mics down there, but, well, maybe we wouldn't.
I don't know if the FCC would like that.
Let that be their thing. His other favorite line, when you'd hit a guy and he'd look back out at the pitcher as he was going to first base, he would scream at him, "We only throw at good hitters." Just a sampling of the wit of Tom Wallace.
And Tom was managing in the Houston farm system, and then I think at one level got to AAA this year. After the manager was stricken with cancer, and his name eludes me, but we saw him at the Major League level briefly. And so Tom has been at that level managing this season. Ground ball that's hit to short. Peralta, long throw, and makes the play. Castro grounds out to Johnny Peralta. 1 inning in the books. St. Louis on top. In Carpenter, 3-0 Cardinals in the top of the second. We say good afternoon to Jim Hayes. And Jim, in game number 2, Shelby Miller returns to the rotation tomorrow.
Yeah, and Shelby was telling me the rest he got while out of the rotation and in the bullpen, he thinks did him a world of good. He says prior to the All-Star break, he had been dealing with the lower back issue that he thinks may have caused his mechanics to get out of whack, but he says the back feels much better now, and he thinks he should be much stronger. He points out it wasn't his first time in the bullpen, but it was his first time doing what they call the trust fall. He told me of all the guys in the bullpen, he believes Trevor Rosenthal would be the guy most likely to drop somebody. Danny, he was kidding, of course, I think.
Trevor's like the nicest guy on the team, is he not, Jim?
He is one of the nicest guys, but his teammates get on him a little bit. You've heard Matt Holliday do his impression of Trevor Rosenthal. It's kind of funny.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that trust fall hopefully loosen up the lower back for Shelby.
I'm not sure that's the normal prescribed treatment for lower back issues, but I'm sure there were other reasons to do that. The team likes to build trust and unity. I think for Shelby, my take on him is he just kind of gets out of whack a bit in terms of the flow of his delivery. You know, he's so solid and so strong with his legs, and he throws so hard. Sometimes it's just not all together. And if he just has the smoothness of his delivery and kind of, in my mind, he's better off when he throws 90% effort than 100% effort.
3-1 pitch to Cruz, may have chased ball 4.
It's really what Greg Maddux said is the secret to pitching. He said that year after year is to throw 90% as hard as you can. Never throw 100%. Greg Maddux, by the way, going to have a big weekend.
Tony La Russa, Greg Maddux, the big hurt. A little bit of that White Sox flavor with La Russa and Frank Thomas, Tom Glavine as well, Bobby Cox, and Joe Torre. By the way, you know, Tony La Russa, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the White Sox, has said his greatest mistake was letting go of Tony La Russa. At the time, the GM was Ken Hawk Harrelson, who is now the play-by-play man of the White Sox. And he managed the first year and a half. Reinsdorf did not own the team. And he said, I was listening a lot to Harry Carey, Jimmy Pearsall. They didn't like Tony La Russa, thought he was a bad manager. And he said, I probably listened too much, because at that point in time, he said, I didn't think, well, this guy's not any good. As Cruz singles into center field. But as we found out, Tony La Russa was pretty darn good.
I'll say. He was also very young, by the way, when he first started out as the manager. He's handpicked because of what he could become. And at the age and the experience that he had, you can't expect him to be a seasoned veteran, but certainly deserves being in the Hall of Fame. And it's going to be a big celebration for, I think, Chicago, because of the people you mentioned, Atlanta, and St. Louis. I think there's a lot of ties in those 3 cities, and be a big celebration this weekend.
And now it's Joe Kelly squaring to bunt. Bunts it off the plate. And by the way, it was this day in 2003 when Frank Thomas hit career home run number 400. That happened against Tampa Bay. At that time, just the 36th player to do it. Frank Thomas, outstanding football player at Auburn, and turned out to be a Hall of Fame baseball player. One ball, 1 strike.
Kelly really good with the bat. You'd expect Jose Oquendo to continue to give him the bunt sign here, but he's the kind of guy you can hit and run with. And you have a 3-run lead. Do you push the envelope, play for a big inning, and try to get into the Cubs bullpen early?
Here's a 1-1. There he goes. Swung on and missed, and a throw to second, and Cruz is out. Exactly what you were talking about.
I didn't say you should do it. I just said you might do it.
You're just throwing out the options.
I didn't say it would work.
Right.
But I do like the call, and unfortunately it was a pitch that was tough for Joe Kelly to handle. He maybe put the bat back a little bit too late and had too big a swing. That's just a pitch you're just trying to make contact with, and that's really on Joe Kelly there, not on Tony Cruz.
Kelly pulls it foul.
And no, I don't have the signs.
Wellington Castillo, known for his defense, because if you follow defensive runs saved, last year he led all catchers with 19. this year, none. Two balls, two strikes with one out. That's it out of play. Kelly hits a pitching wedge out to left, and the catch is made by Coughlin. Let's go back to the caught stealing. You picked up something here with the home plate umpire.
Well, he makes a call after the swing by Joe Kelly, who is just trying to put the ball in play. Is he impeding the throw down the second? And that's what Malinsky is saying with the safe call, that Joe Kelly gave the catcher Castillo a chance to throw, and he was not interfering with that throw, and that's really what he's communicating to the Cardinals dugout and really to both teams at that point, but especially to the Cardinals, that's not interference. And if Kelly does fall across the plate and impede the throw, it's going to be interference and the runner's out. He was out anyway.
Here's an 0-1 to Carpenter. Now it's 0-2. Single to center to start the afternoon, and scored on the air by Alcantara, second baseman of the Cubs. 2 outs, nobody on for St. Louis, and a 3-run lead. Spoils a pitch. Cardinals had 3 hits in the first and 1 here in the second inning, and all 4 of the hits have come with 2 strikes. Hear it all the time, the ability for a pitcher to put a hitter away. And so far today, Wood, more times than not, has not been able to do that.
It's one thing to get to 2 strikes, but then what do you do with it? You got to have a put away pitch, a wipeout pitch, sometimes players will call it.
And Carpenter is 2 for 2 again with 2 strikes. A base hit, and this one with 2 outs.
Good start to the series for Matt Carpenter, and again a pitch in the middle of the plate. And Wood is not really known for being a breaking ball pitcher. He does have a slider and a curveball both. There are some that think he should throw his curveball more often. Left-handers don't hit him as well as right-handers, which you would expect to be the case, but that's where you really need that wipeout slider. 1-2 count, throw that slider just off the outside plate, outside part of the plate with a sharp break, and that's where you get the strikeout. Wood just doesn't have that right now.
And with 2 strikes, been very good this year, but not today. 2 outs, runner at first, and here's Peralta. Popped out to third.
Those are some of the most telling stats, Dan, and we get a chance to see them from time to time, and what batting averages are in the aggregate across all of baseball on specific counts. And it is incredible how high the average is on 3-1, 1-0, 2-0 versus 0-2, 1-2. I mean, it's incredible.
You fall behind, you're asking for trouble. I mean, it's averages, some of them that are above 400 in certain spots,
and below 200 when the pitcher has the advantage, which is the game. And unfortunately, he's gotten ahead, but he just has not been able to finish him off today.
2 balls and 1 strike. Cardinals with 5 hits already.
Wait, is that 2-1 or 3-1? Yeah, I'm just making sure.
2-1, and John Jay not at the plate, so
okay.
Don't worry.
I got my clicker up here.
Everybody's clicking now. I mean, we're all watching.
That won't happen again anytime soon, will it?
You wouldn't think. We're referring to the game on Wednesday. John Jay had walked, and No one picked it up. Home plate umpire, the bench, broadcasters, people in the seats.
Only our truck knew. And John Jay.
The 2-2. Carpenter off with his next pitch. But 8 or fewer hits in 6 straight coming into play for the St. Louis Cardinals. So the offense trying to get some traction. The team trying to gain some traction and snap a 3-game losing skid. Here's a 3-2 pitch. And Peralta pulls it foul.
Cardinals haven't lost 4 games straight all season long. They've had 4 3-game losing streaks, including the one that they're in right now. But a consistent team that hasn't really gone into a big tailspin, at least. I say consistent, but not. They haven't really had the big winning streak either.
We'll do it again. Milwaukee struggled heading into the break, and now they're starting to play very good baseball again, having opened up a 3-game lead. And Milwaukee will host New York. They've got Zach Wheeler and Yovani Gallardo going tonight. A walk to Peralta. So 2 on and 2 outs for Holiday. The AT&T fan photo. Tweet us your photo. We'll show it later in our telecast. Hashtag STL fan photo.
60 pitches already for Travis Wood, and the Cubs have a bullpen that is very thin today. They had a rough couple of games the last 2 nights, gave up 21 runs in the last 2 games against San Diego, including 13 yesterday. And there are 2 relievers that are unavailable today. Left-hander Russell and the right-hander Brian Schlitter. So they're down 2 guys, and they've got a pitcher with 60 pitches for the 2nd inning.
San Diego club, historic lows when you think about what they're doing offensively. That's a club at the start of play today. This is coming off 2 very good nights. As you talked about against Chicago, they're hitting .216 as a team. .216. Here's the 0-1. Inside to Holiday, and they play him off the line in left. That's Chris Coghlan.
Way off the line in left. He's playing left center field. This is bunching him in the outfield right here. They're really giving him both lines. But this is extreme bunching him in the outfield. They're trying to take the gaps away from Holiday. I think there's a school of thought. If Holiday gets a hold of one down the line, I'm not going to catch it anyway unless I have a seat.
Yeah.
And they'll defend that way at times. They'll think, well, the ball that I can get maybe is going to be the one in the gap, and we want to take that away from him. But that is, I would say, extreme.
Or even maybe someone standing on wavelength.
Right.
We've seen that before. 2-2. BJC Healthcare, usually we've seen Holiday game 1 of the last 4 series combined, but he gets off to a good start and sets the tone of a series, 7 for 13. Here's a 2-2. And once again, he runs the count full.
The shift that they have on Holiday reminds me that the Cubs a year ago shifted a lot, and they have cut down quite a bit because they studied it in the offseason and found that when they shifted, it was counterproductive. They threw all their metrics into it, added it all together, and said we'd have been better off if we didn't shift at all. Now, who did the math on that and how they came up with it, who knows? But this is a team that obviously centers on that a lot with their general manager, and they just are doing it much less this year.
Strikeout of Holiday. Having words with the home plate umpire, and the Cardinals strand 2 here in the top of the second. Headed to the Hall of Fame is the third winningest manager all time, Tony La Russa, just ahead of Bobby Cox and Joe Torre. They were 4 and 5. John McGraw number 2, Connie Mack number 1. And quite the resume when you think about Tony La Russa.
Longevity, the energy that he continued to have year after year. I mean, it requires an awful lot of planning, effort, and you can't find a guy that was more prepared day in and day out than Tony La Russa.
Not at all. I mean, it's remarkable what he was able to do and able to change with the game too, and the shifts, the different things that we talk about in that regard.
And talk about a guy who cared so much about winning, almost maniacally so. I mean, you and I, and all of us around, would make the mistake of asking him the question how he's doing the day of a game. And his standard answer is, you know better than that. Wait till after the game and I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd just say that every day. And you do it without thinking about it. Hey, Tony, how you doing? I don't know yet. Let me know I'll tell you after the game.
I will say this. I was disappointed that he did not choose a hat, just like I'm disappointed that Greg Maddux has done the same. To me, he goes in as a Cardinal. This is where he's had his greatest success. He's won the most games. I think that he goes in as a St. Louis Cardinal. Now, he had great success with the A's. We know that. Had a postseason appearance with the White Sox. But Greg Maddux, to me, should go in either as a Brave or as a Cub.
I played in the Hall of Fame on that.
Because, and maybe you're right, as Valbuena takes the walk, but 100 years from now, somebody walks in the Hall of Fame and you're reading that plaque, and, you know, a lot of times you see the plaque and you're identified by the hat that you wear. And you understand, well, that's a St. Louis Cardinal. That's, in this case, a Cub or a Brave. I just think that's
a
disservice to the individual.
But I think they overreacted when I think Andre Dawson had a lot to do with that. When Andre Dawson wasn't given a choice, I believe he went in as an Expo, but he wanted to go in as a Cub or the other way around. But the point is, he didn't get a choice. And I think they thought, well, maybe we should give the player a choice. But I think going forward, that's going to create this, everybody that goes in after this is going to have to pick somebody. And if you played bulk of your career with 2 different places. It's a no-win situation, and so I don't really fault Maddox or La Russa for that. I just think that was a poorly thought out decision to say let's just leave it up to the player.
There's Wellington Castillo, and Tony did not, in his reasoning, want to slight a Jerry Reinsdorf or the ownership group or those that he worked with in Oakland, nor St. Louis. Here's a 1-1.
And I'm with you that I'm disappointed in it, though, Dan. I still feel that same deal, and I think it ends up making the player and the manager, in this case with Tony La Russa, actually makes them look bad. Because even though they're saying, I don't want to slight anybody, the impression is given that they're bigger than the team they played for. And that's not, I know their intention, but that's how it feels, I think, to the fans in all 3 cities.
Sure.
For goodness sake. So it's not, it just puts the player or manager in an awkward position.
The 1-2 driven out to right center field. Valbuena on his way to third, and runners at the corners, nobody out here in the bottom of the second.
Valbuena reached on a walk. He sees the line drive. He has got to follow the baseball himself to determine whether or not he can go first to third. And of course, players are taught to pick up their coaches and get help from their coach. He's the third base coach, in this case, Gary Jones. But they'll tell you, all the coaches will tell you, you are your first coach, because your eyes will tell you what to do first. By the time you look at me, then decide what to do, it's too late. And we want you to trust your eyes. And I know when you're teaching little leaguers about rounding second or rounding third, you're always telling them to pick up the coach. But at the big league level, it starts with your own instincts, number one, and then the coach can either stop you or encourage you after that. But they want you to be your own coach running the bases.
Ryan Sweeney, good numbers against St. Louis. .214 overall this year. Valbuena led the inning off with a walk. Castillo the base hit, and that's slapped out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Beautiful day here at Wrigley Field, celebrating 100 years of baseball at this ballpark. Cubs very much could be a spoiler here down the stretch. They have 32 games left with Central teams, including today, 9 more with St. Louis, 9 with Milwaukee, 13 each with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
I think you may see 1 or 2 of their prize prospects up in September too, which will add some intrigue to that. Guys trying to earn jobs.
Left center, Jay back, looks up, and this game is tied. Ryan Sweeney, his second home run.
Already has that feel that we're at Wrigley Field, doesn't it?
Sure does. Kelly had not allowed a home run in 7 consecutive starts. It had been 10 road starts since he allowed a home run. Nate Scherholtz popped up. Carpenter giving chase. And drops in the Cubs bullpen.
Leadoff walk, a problem for Joe Kelly, maybe in more ways than one. Not only do you have a runner aboard who hasn't earned it, but you have to deal with the frustration of not being able to throw a strike. And there are times where emotionally or even with your mechanics, you just take a while to kind of catch up to that, and it affects what happens after that. Kind of mad at yourself for giving up a free pass, and then things get worse.
RBIs 12, 13, and 14 for Sweeney.
I mean, there's honestly, Dan, some times where you're standing on the mound and you think, how did that just happen?
Yeah.
What happened? Everything was great. I warmed up great. Had a good first inning, little bunt single, 3-run lead, and then in the space of a minute and a half, things can turn on.
The 2-2. In the air down the right field line. Turned on the pitch. And pulled it foul.
Just glad that didn't land with all of our friends, the Fox Sports Midwest crew that's here, and our sponsors down the right field line. If they're going to get a baseball, I'd rather a Cardinal hit it.
The Budweiser patio. There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout. First of the afternoon for Joe Kelly.
There they are, Budweiser patio. Dan, you and I had a chance to visit out there just prior to the first pitch, and what a great view that is. And so many of the folks connected to Fox Sports Midwest, our broadcast, our partners are out there enjoying Wrigley Field Cardinal Cub baseball.
There's Max Linewand and Jack Donovan, the general manager of Fox Sports Midwest. And Max has been with us for a number of years. And Jim found out there was free food, and he made his way out there.
He holds court wherever he is, doesn't he? Running the show.
It's not about the free food. Maybe it is.
Here's a ground ball that's hit too short and fouled by Peralta. Travis Wood is aboard. He's a good athlete. Fields his position. He can hit 2 home runs this year, and he came in hitting .243, second best among pitchers in the National League. That's an error on Peralta, his 9th.
Again, maybe the relationship between defense and pitching showing itself again.
There's Chris Coghlan. Flied out to right center on a 3-1 pitch. First time up. Takes a fastball down and in.
Danny, all the games you've done over the years, would you agree that you very seldom see a game where a pitcher is extraordinarily sharp and the defense behind him isn't?
Right.
It just doesn't seem to happen.
One in with the other.
And I don't know that I could describe the reason, or whether there is even a reason that makes a lot of sense and why those two seem to be so related, but they are.
My guess would be a rhythm. You know, a rhythm with the pitcher and vice versa. Ellis spins, thought about going to second, gets the shore out at first. And you being a former pitcher, number of years in the major leagues, you coached. I mean, I'm sure you stressed, number one, throw strikes, get ahead in the count, which is what you hear all the time, but work quickly, get in sync with everything that you can that helps you get to that next level, that next inning, that next out.
And when that rhythm is off, it sometimes affects what goes on between the ears. So your cadence is off, the flow is off, the synergy, whatever word you want to use. Now you're wondering, I wonder if I'm going to catch this ball hit to me, instead of I'm going to catch it in the flow of what's happening and our pitcher's dealing. And I mean, it's just I think confidence is part of it. I think there's almost a collective confidence that happens on the defensive side. And this game is so important in terms of the thought process, and confidence a part of it.
Alcantara at the plate. He bunted his way on with good speed. And the Cubs made room for him after designating Darwin Barney for assignment. Barney, a former Gold Glove winner, And this young man is a switch hitter. What helps his chances to play every day is that he can play all around the infield and he can play the outfield. It was interesting that Darwin Barney left the club for 2 days on a paternity leave, and Alcantara got a chance to play and he made the most of it. And he hits that out of play. Hitting very good against right-handers at 321, 143 against the lefties, and there's some of the top prospects in all of baseball.
5 in the top 37. 2 of them at the AAA level, Bryant and Baez.
One, 2 is hit to second. Ellis makes the play. A 3-run homer by Ryan Sweeney has tied this game up. We head to the 3rd at Wrigley Field in Chicago. St. Louis 3, Chicago 3. A beautiful afternoon here at Wrigley. When the Cardinals score 6, get any size drink it on the run, just 50 cents the next day. Keep the savings going all summer long with the $5 sandwich, chips, and drink meal deal. See store for details at your nearest On the Run. A new life for Travis Wood. This game tied up now 3-3.
New life, but how many pitches will he have left in his arm? You mentioned that he threw 200 innings a year ago, so he's a durable guy, but with 60-plus pitches through 2 innings, you can't imagine him going much past 5.
The Cards, the Cubs, the blue and the red in the seats. I think it's interesting to look at where both these franchises go in the next couple of months. We've talked about the fact is the Cubs may bring up some of their young stars, and would the Cardinals think about dealing some of those young stars in the future for the now? You know, obviously what they have, they've gotten this far. They're 3 games out. They're waiting for some to hopefully, in their case, pick it up. If that happens, it's a different looking team.
You almost get the idea with the trading deadline that every day makes a big difference. The Cardinals have been kind of on a bit of a roller coaster even in the last 3 weeks of getting hot, and then you say, yep, they're there, and then you have a losing streak. And look at Tampa Bay that we just saw in St. Louis.
Hold on just a second. I think Joe Kelly just got hit maybe by that foul ball. It was out of our range looking here from the booth. I saw one player go down And sure enough, it's Joe Kelly. Are you kidding me? As Adams hits it out to left. And Coughlin makes the catch. We saw it earlier with Michael Wacha.
That's just incredible that that would happen twice, and kind of looks of concern in the dugout. And sometimes it's not just the first shot, but sometimes it's kind of the ricochet. You see Taveras ducking out of the way. Long as well.
And right after that is when Kelly was in our view, as that's pulled foul by Craig.
Oh my. We don't see anyone throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
Craig struck out looking with 2 runners on back in the first.
I'm not saying this is what happened, but there are a few stadiums that are, especially the old ballparks, where you have to be careful about hitting your head on the ceiling. And I could actually see that happening if Joe was sitting on the, again, I'm not saying that happened, but there are 2 or 3 ballparks, the older ones, where you can actually hit your head if you're seated on the top step there and you jump up to get out of the way. You could actually kind of hit your own head on the ceiling, and
that may have happened.
We can only hope that Joe's okay. Old Tiger Stadium was notorious for that. So was Comiskey Park.
When you head down the steps in the dugout to head to the bench, you can see that padding there because of what you're talking about.
There's actually a safety committee that meets every year where they talk about issues related to players' health, and they'll make changes from year to year. The old Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, players would slip down the steps because they had a matte surface there that when it would get wet, it would become dangerous. And guys, dangerous in terms of twisting ankles, and not dangerous, life-threatening dangerous, but when you're talking about players twisting an ankle because the ballpark isn't 100% up to code, then they normally will make changes.
Looked to be an identical pitch that Craig watched from the previous at bat. Let's take a look if it's a strike.
Well, we thought the first at bat it was off the plate. This one, he thinks it's off the plate as well. Frustration continues.
So there's 2 down, and it brings in John Jay. And still nobody up and throwing in the Cardinals' pen, which leads you to believe that Kelly would return and be all right.
Right. That's the hope.
0-1 pitch to Jay. Got a big hit, a double that scored 2 with 2 outs in the first to make it 3-0. Kelly is back, as you saw there, and there's a ground out to second. The Cardinals go 1-2-3 here in the top of the third. Just hope Joe Kelly's all right. by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. Opened up in 1914, the second oldest ballpark in the major leagues, behind Fenway Park, which opened up in 1912. Third oldest stadium is Dodger Stadium, that opened up back in 1962. They remember in the World Series that Adam Wainwright hit his head at Fenway Park.
Again, an old stadium.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were not very many players 6'7" when Fenway Park was built. At least they were playing baseball. We had Big Train, Walter Johnson.
Right.
Talking about him the other day. You think about him being the big, monstrous guy throwing gas. He was 6'1", 190, I believe, or 6'1", 200.
The Big Train.
The Big Train.
Right.
He'd be the average size train right now.
Maybe below. You think about how drafts are run, and you look for the bigger players. You look for the hard throwers. Here's Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Since the All-Star break of last year, he's hit 35 home runs. As Ricky told you at the onset, he has been on a tear. Fly to center, first time up. And we see the slugging percentage since July 7th. A 3-1. Now 3-2. Rizzo with a base hit into right as he turned on the fastball. So leadoff hit, and it brings in Starlin Castro.
10-game hitting streak now, and the middle of the lineup that you talked about, that's the tough part for Joe Kelly. He did give up a home run to Sweeney. We talked about limited production from the bottom of the order. Sweeney was just his second home run of the season, but the 3-run shot got the Cubs back in this game.
Castro grounded out to short his first time up. So the hit streak at 10 games for Rizzo. That's the longest of any Cub this season. Outfield is deep, straight away, and a ball. Since Michael Wacha left the rotation, there have been 30 starts. The combination of Lynn and Wainwright, a 2.25 ERA. They pitch quite well, 7-5. Everybody else, the ERA is near 7. So when you think about what the Cardinals may be looking for at the trade deadline, you could see, well, there's a bunch. I mean, you could see starting pitching. You could see about a bat. Certainly you think about the potential of a catcher maybe if Yadier Molina doesn't come back.
I think it's very clear that the Cardinals miss Michael Wacha and that they miss Yadier Molina. And if Wacha and Molina are as good as we say they are, why wouldn't you miss them if you lose those two key members of your team?
Short lead at first by Rizzo. The 2-1 pitch took something off it. We talked about the prospects, and at this point, as you said, and you've reiterated the point, they are names that it takes a while to develop. I mean, just go back a year ago with Castro, who really took a step backwards. Rizzo, same thing. There's growing pains with these young players too. It takes time at this level. Fastball and a strikeout of Castro.
And not only, Dan, does it take time. You look at that last pitch from Joe Kelly, just hit hitting the outside corner just barely. Good late movement from Joe Kelly coming back over the outside half. But not only does it take time to develop, but some of them don't make it. No matter how good you are. You think about the Cardinals, let's say 5 years ago, you think about, well, the Cardinals have Colby Rasmus, and then they have Brett Wallace and Zach Cox, and we've got these guys that are going to be big impact players. And how do we feel about that now?
Runner goes, and Cruz fires to second, and Rizzo slides right into the tag. Nice throw by Cruz. Rizzo had a very good jump.
That throw was right on the money by Tony Cruz. Quick release, too. He gets a pitch he can handle outside, but that ball's out of his hand in a hurry. Quick transition. And you're right, sliding right into the tag.
Here's a 1-0 to Valbuena. Taken high and outside, 2-0. Valbuena walked. And the damage that has been done in the lineup today primarily by lefties. Lefties hitting .343 against Joe Kelly this year. Right-handers came in at .200.
Those prospects I mentioned that were formerly with the Cardinals, that's not to disparage them and say they don't have big league careers ahead of them. In Colby's case, he's been a major leaguer for a long time, but I think that if your thought process is they're going to be frontline perennial all-stars, it hasn't happened for any of them.
Valbuena walks for the second time. 2 walks issued by Kelly today. Remember, Zach Cox turned into Edward Mujica, the Cardinals closer last year from Miami. And then it was Wallace, who's been involved with a number of big deals, and right now trying to get back to the big leagues. Castillo with a base hit and scored on a 3-run homer by the man on deck, Ryan Sweeney. One pitch on its way.
The best information, Dan, that we have right now, this comes from the Cubs side, is that the ball did hit Joe Kelly as part of a ricochet in that Cardinal dugout. The ball was lined into the Cardinals dugout and doesn't seem to be showing any signs of that. Seems to be fine with it, but certainly could shake you up a little bit.
Yeah. 2-1 line into center field.
Throw by Tony Cruz, pretty important.
Ryan Sweeney, runners at first and second. Fox Sports Midwest and the Cardinals bring you Mizzou night at the ballpark August 15th. Cardinals take on the Padres. Wear your black and gold. We'll see you for Mizzou night August 15th. It's cardinals.com/theme. 3-run homer for Sweeney back in the second, tied it up at 3-3. Tomorrow we'll visit with Mike Alden, the longtime AD at the University of Missouri. He'll be with us here at Wrigley. SEC first year in the books, and what a year it was for Mizzou football. That's a base hit into left field. And the Cubs have their first lead of the afternoon, 4-3, and all 4 have been driven in by Ryan Sweeney.
Again, a walk to Valbuena, a key element in the Cubs getting on the board. Joe Kelly walked him to lead off the second inning, and that led to a 3-run inning and a 2-out walk to Valbuena, who scores on this base hit the other way. An inside-out swing past a diving Matt Carpenter. Matt Holliday on the throw. Valbuena has now scored twice, and it's been the biggest issue so far for Joe Kelly, those two particular walks.
Ryan Sweeney came in hitting .214 with 1 home run, 11 RBIs. Now with 4 RBIs on the day, up to 15, and he hit his second home run of the season back in the second inning. Nate Scherholz, who struck out swinging in the second. Kelly has struck out 2. The 0-1. Now make it 0-2.
Scherholz last year, career high 21 home runs, 68 RBIs. Now he finds himself batting 8th a year later.
Kelly a couple of times has looked back into our home plate umpire. A little frustrated with this zone here in the third. And that's in the dirt. 2-2. Cardinals jumped out to a 3-run lead. The Ryan Sweeney 3-run homer tied it up. Sweeney now in this inning has given the Cubs their first lead at 4-3.
Dan, you'll never get a player, a manager, or a coach to talk about what you expect to do on a whole road trip, because they're going to talk about it a day at a time, and I know that's trite, but there's reasons for that. They have to think that way. But I think Cardinals need to win 4 out of 6 at least on this road trip.
Second strikeout of the inning, 3 today for Joe Kelly. Cubs on top. Lewis, Cruz, and Kelly coming up. Chicago with a 4-3 lead. We mentioned earlier we're having our Fox sponsor party here at Wrigley, and some of the guys and gals want to ask us some questions. We thought this would be kind of fun. So, Jim, who do you have out there?
Well, this is Don Brown from Don Brown Chevrolet, who brings us the Don Brown deal. So you have a question for Dan and Rick. What do you got?
I got a question for Ricky. Ricky, you obviously played for many years, and you've been in this ballpark before. So my question is, what's your most memorable moment here at Wrigley Field, and what's your worst moment here at Wrigley Field?
Good question. Thanks.
Yeah, the worst one's a lot easier, Don, than the best one. Actually, my favorite moment here at Wrigley Field is when Vince Coleman and Willie McGee got credit for 2 stolen bases each on one particular play. Vince was the lead runner, stole third. Willie, the back end of a double steal. And Vince overslid the bag and just kept going. And he got in a rundown. He scored. Willie went to third, and they gave 4 stolen bases on that one play. My least favorable moment, or my least favorite moment, well, I didn't get to pitch here very often. I'd say my worst moment is the time a guy was squirting mustard and ketchup on me down in the bullpen.
Oh, yeah. Really?
You've heard that story.
Yeah,
warming up in the bullpen, and the guy was lining up mustard packets.
I remember that.
And ketchup, and literally squirting them on my uniform as I was getting ready to come in the game. I'd say that was a low point.
Yeah, that can't be a high point.
No, exactly.
You know, they're right there. You see it there, just separated by the brick.
I don't want to give those people there any ideas. I'm just saying it's been done before.
I'm sure you've heard plenty about your family and whatnot down there.
Yeah, I remember a guy screaming at me down there. I told this story before, too, and he's yelling at me, and I said, he's saying, hey, Horton, hey, Horton. He's about 12 years old. And I said, hey, it's Mr. Horton to you, pal. And he said, hey, it's Mr. Pal to you, Horton.
That's hilarious.
Doubled overlap.
Nice play by Rizzo.
We got more from Jim?
Yeah, let's check back in with Jim.
This is Stan Crater of Crater Distributing, and you have a question for Dan or Rick or both. What do you got?
Yeah, for anybody. 2 days ago, I think, with the help of the home plate ump, John Jay made history. I mean, how many batters have struck out on a 4-2 pitch count?
I think we'll go with Dan for that one. He's a little smarter. Dan?
I think that's a shot at you.
Oh, I take it that way, 100%. Yeah. But I actually have the answer to that.
Well, first,
despite your acumen.
Well, I had never seen that. Now, I've heard that people have seen it, and you recall that you were a part of one of those situations.
I didn't see it. I did it. I was at the plate. Kevin Gross was pitching to me in Old Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. And Ozzie Smith stole on the third pitch of the at-bat, and they didn't put it on the board. It was ball 2. It was 2-1. Ended up getting the ball 4. I started to run to first base, and everybody said, no, that's 3. And I said, no, that's 4. And I lost the argument, grounded out to short on a 4-2 pitch.
Now, you were aired out, too.
I was. Our home broadcasters, now I can't imagine that broadcasters would ever be negative, but our broadcasters at the time made fun of me for not knowing how to count to 4.
And who were they?
I believe that was Mike Shannon and Jack Buck.
Ooh, so Jack Buck aired you out.
Well, in Jack's fun and funny way. But I have the tape at home. Anybody wants to come see it, I'll show you.
Did you ever go back to Jack and say, hey, by the way, Jack?
I never did.
I was right.
I was afraid to do that.
I bet.
You kidding me?
Strikeout of Cruz. Let's check in with Jimmy again.
This is Jeff Babinski from Lumiere Place, and you have a question for Dan and Rick.
Yes, hey Rick. I know you were.
You're all for Rick.
You were 32-27 during your career, and I know Dan didn't play at Wrigley Field. What was it like playing at Wrigley Field, and what was your record against the Cubs?
The one Rick Horton fan. Take it, Rick.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey, Jeff's a pitcher too, by the way. We've seen him at fantasy.
I had to catch him at fantasy.
You did. You got a chance to catch him, and actually, in all honesty, I didn't pitch much here at Wrigley Field for a couple of reasons. One, the wind was blowing out, and I didn't want to. Number two, they didn't have very many left-handed batters, and Whitey Herzog believed that left-handed pitchers couldn't pitch well here with the stacked right-handed hitters at the time for the Cubs: Dawson, Keith Moreland, Jody Davis, and Ryan Sandberg. So very few. I had one start here. I lost to Rick Sutcliffe, and beyond that, I don't think I pitched here very often. It was just a 3-day vacation for me.
Quick 1-2-3 inning.
Thanks, Jim.
Find somebody, Jim. Find him now. Our annual sponsors trip, Fox Sports Midwest. Jim is out at the Budweiser. Wait a minute. Sponsors. That's Darren Pang. What's the deal here, Jim?
Well, we needed someone to make me look tall, so we thought we'd have Darren Pang fire a question at you guys. Hi, Panger. How are you?
I'm doing great, Cat. How you doing?
Do you have a baseball question for these guys?
I do. It's for both of them. Certainly for.
He is wearing a Cardinals hat, by the way.
And for Dan and Rick, before I ask the question, I want to wish a happy birthday to my partner, John Kelly. I know
who's here.
I know you tweeted about that earlier, so happy birthday, JK. And my question would be, and I love the fact that David Freese, a hometown boy, watched him closely, had great success, was heroic in winning a World Series. So my question to you two guys is, what are your thoughts on the hometown boy, Paul Stastny, coming back and returning to the St. Louis Blues?
Break it down, guys.
Well, we're pumped about it. By the way, it was great to see that Jim could. Well, no, was he standing up?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if Panger was. You could tell that Panger, by the way, was a broadcaster.
Oh, no doubt.
Is, because if we would have let him go, he would have taken over the whole inning.
He's great. And also thinking of his partner, too, was that was
Very
also
nice.
Happy birthday to John Kelly.
No, do you know Paul Stastny at all?
I have not met him, but I know he's going to be a big asset to the organization.
Absolutely. He is a hometown kid.
Did I break that down well enough for
organization?
you?
Yeah. Paul is signed a 4-year deal with the St. Louis Blues. What a big splash the Blues have made. They get one of the preeminent goal scorers in the league. His dad is a Hall of Famer, Paul, Chaminade High School. And it's going to be a big get for the St. Louis Blues. They needed him.
Well, the Blues have been tremendous entertainment the last couple of years. I just love the direction. It's just so much fun to watch him play.
How about this? Travis Wood. Are you kidding me? He's done it again. His third home run. In his career, he has 9. Travis Wood makes it a 5-3 Chicago lead. He can hit. We flash back. This is the first of 9. Travis Wood off of Adam Wainwright, his first career homer.
Throws left, bats right, and has power. Drives this one to left center field. Wood is settled down on the mound as well, Dan. He's retired 7 straight Cardinals. That was a nice, easy swing, too. Very smooth.
In the air. Holiday over near the line and makes the catch.
And Coughlin never ran. He thought that was in the stands. A fair ball, and he actually barely got out of the box. He wasn't being lazy. He was just a little bit confused. Good thing for him, Matt Holliday didn't drop that ball.
Just to finish the thought, though, the St. Louis Blues pick up Paul Stastny, and his older brother Jan played for the Blues. He's up and down in the minor leagues, and Paul represented Team USA in the Olympics. He's a dual citizen. Could have played for Canada or the United States, and Jan initially said he wanted to play in international competition for the United States. So Paul said that so those two could play together at some point, and represented our country, and now will represent the St. Louis Blues.
And I believe Panger would be very proud with your full answer to that question.
I think I covered it.
You did. Very much so.
And happy birthday to our friend John Kelly, longtime voice of the Blues. 1-2 the count.
And I know we're not in charge of St. Louis Blues marketing and telecast, but I say with all sincerity, if you've not been to a hockey game in a while and you maybe think baseball's my only thing, you got to go. I mean, it's just tremendous entertainment.
Ellis charging and makes the play.
Fun game to watch.
Reminder, we have the annual Build-A-Bear Workshop Day coming up. That's August 3rd for the kids. 12,000 kids, 15 and under. Entering with a ticket, receive their very own limited edition Mini Clydesdale. So get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo hit a couple of home runs this past week in a game and dedicated those to a cancer patient that he had visited with earlier in the day at a local hospital. And Rizzo himself, a cancer survivor, crossed home plate. Both times he pointed to the sky. And he said it was in honor of Mike Casillas, his 22-year-old leukemia patient. And he said, I'll try to hit you a home run that day, that night. I can't promise it, but I'll try. He said that Rizzo is outstanding in the community here in Chicago. As Carpenter makes the play after the home run, 1-2-3, but Travis Wood has extended the Chicago lead, 5-3. Carpenter, Peralta, and Holiday for St. Louis. Rick, coming into this start today for Travis Wood, and Carpenter is 2 for 2. He had made 4 starts. He was 0-3. He had given up 30 hits in 20 innings. 18 runs. Opponents hitting .349 against him, and right now the Cardinals trail 5-3.
You got the sense that he was headed towards another game that would add to those numbers through 2 innings. Dan, he gave up 5 hits in the first 2 innings, 3 Cardinal runs. Now they are all unearned because of the error, but he still didn't pitch well and threw a lot of pitches in 2 innings. But the last 2, 3 up, 3 down, but nearing 100 pitches as he's working here in the 5th.
There's a drive out to deep right, and this one is gone. A home run for Carpenter. He's 3 for 3. Fan has thrown it back out onto the field. Almost into the Budweiser patio. That would have made some sponsors happy.
They wouldn't have thrown it back. They'd have kept it. Middle in. Turns on it.
So home run number 6 on a 2-1 pitch. And here is Peralta. Well, Carpenter has done his thing. 2 runs scored, 3 for 3. The chance of let's go Cardinals here at the ballpark.
He'd been the last Cardinal to get a hit, and in the 2nd inning. And Another reminder, we are at Wrigley Field, so hold on to your hat.
The Cubs here at home, 21-24. They play the fewest home games in the National League. We showed you that graphic earlier. 4th straight year they have hit the 100-game mark and are 10 or more games below 500 as Peralta strikes out. And that's strikeout number 4 for Travis Wood. Pitch count at 1-0-2 for the lefty. So look at the Saturday baseball. Cardinals and Cubs will come your way on Fox Sports Midwest at 2:30. Nationals and Reds will be seen on Fox Sports 1, and then later in the evening it's Indians and Royals. That's Saturday at 6. And the ball outside to Holiday.
This Waveland Avenue feel going on right now. How about you?
Especially after his last at bat, and he was not happy with the strike zone. And his first at bat, Rick, he lined a single, as you said, about 104 miles an hour into center field. It's Waveland out there beyond the wall and left. Sheffield the street and right. Here's a 2-1. Good cut and fouled it back.
That's the pitch I meant.
That was it, huh?
And that was the swing, too.
Get the feeling that this would be it for Wood, well above 100 pitches.
Early pitch count, 30 plus in the first 2 innings, did him in really. And the Cardinals with a chance to get into that Cubs bullpen, which has been hit and miss.
The 2-2. And Holiday hits a high, towering fly ball out to deep left field. Will it leave the ballpark? You bet it will. You called it. And this game is tied. 9th home run this year. Sure, throw it on back. Who cares? Cardinals have tied it up. It's 5-5. Rick Horton was right on that one.
Try to be once a month. Just had a good feeling about that Holiday at bat. Doesn't end up on Waveland Avenue, but a towering home run to left. A cutter that didn't get in enough. I think he knew it right away.
Coughlin, when he went back, was spun all around. I mean, that was high and then it was deep. Wind carried it a little bit.
And I mentioned his last plate appearance, he did the same little spin around. He's a little confused today.
So the Cardinals pick up 2 home runs in this inning and have tied it up. And with that, the lefty starts throwing in the pen for the Chicago Cubs. Adams. Fly ball into right. Nate Schierholtz. 2 down. Want a great deal on Cardinals tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more now until September 19th and receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. In the air, left field, off the bat of Craig, Coughlin back and makes the catch. Cardinals with 2 solo home runs here in the top of the 5th. Matt Carpenter with number 6. That made it 5-4. Then it was Holiday. This one, number 9. He knew it. 5-5. Midway through 5. A wild one here at Wrigley. Castro, Valbuena, and Castillo against Joe Kelly. 5-5 here in the home half of the 5th. This day, 1962, Stan the Man became the National League all-time leader in RBIs. Of course, he had his 3,000th hit right here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Here's a 1-1. There's a broken bat. And Ellis gloves, throws, and not in time. So base hit for Starlin Castro.
With the broken bat, that took a lot off the pace of the ball and made the infielders have to be very quick to get it. But Peralta had to worry about the bat as well. So there's the close play. He is safe. Mark Ellis did everything he could to get rid of that quickly. I wondered whether Peralta had a hard time getting a jump on that because the bat was flying towards him at the same time the baseball was.
Valbuena has walked twice and scored twice. 4 RBIs today from Ryan Sweeney. And a home run by Wood to account for the other RBI. It's fouled back and a good cut. Joe Kelly turned 26 back on June 9th. 98th overall pick in 2009. Strasburg was #1 that year. Shelby Miller was the 19th overall pick. The Cubs, you may remember, had an outfielder by the name of Brett Jackson. Came up briefly to the big leagues and did not stick. Last matchup for Joe is against Zach Greinke on Saturday, and today he gets Travis Wood. That's it out of play. And the lefty, Randy Choate, beginning to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. A couple lefties coming up with Sweeney and Shearholtz.
And Sweeney, the guy that's done the damage today, 2 for 2 with 4 RBIs, and then Shearholtz has struck out twice, but he had been 6 for 13 against Joe Kelly in his career. So we may see Choate, depending upon what happens here with Valbuena. The way the offenses are working today with the power, I would think both teams would be hesitant to run again. A couple of caught stealing today.
And this is popped up. Going out, Peralta. And he makes the catch. Wrigley Field celebrating 100 years. So many changes over the years. Biggest renovation, 1937. They had massive renovation with the bleachers, scoreboard, and they tried to make it a much better major league facility for the players.
The field is different too.
The crown is not there that once existed to help with drainage on the infield.
I think the mound is a more standard mound. I always felt as if the step back here at Wrigley, when you take the one step back off the mound, was a huge drop off. You almost had to be, if you were a guy that had a big step back, I think it was an awkward place to pitch. But the infield itself, Dan, is so much different. The grass was quite a bit higher. They tried to make any ball hit the infield stay in the infield. It was tough to get a ground ball base hit through the infield at Wrigley Field.
See, the grass at times was 2 to 3 inches higher than what you see right now. Literally that tall. As you mentioned how hard it was with the infield and to get a ground ball through.
Really favored the sinker ball pitchers. You think of Greg Maddux, one of the best.
Ivy, that's Boston Ivy. And Bill Veeck was the one that planted that ivy. He's got his stamp on a lot of different things around baseball.
There's an Andre Dawson out there somewhere.
Lovie Smith will come out of the ivy every once in a while. Not sure what's caught in there. We say it every year, but if you have the chance to come to Chicago and experience this, you really should. If you love baseball, you love your Cardinals, you like the rivalry, take it in.
And I would say come back and experience it again.
Yep.
It's still great. As is the city.
Batting practice. This facility's so old, you have to find the batting cages underneath the bleachers in right field. Go to that door right there. For the longest time, they did not have advertising painted on those doors and walls of the outfield.
And part of the renovation, Dan, was improving some of those things about the ballpark, including the batting cages and the weight room for the visiting team, because there's a really a league rule that whatever the home team has, the visiting team has to have equal facilities. But that wasn't true here for years. And you'd come here and complain about it because the facilities just weren't quite as good.
There's a swing and a miss. Strikeout for Kelly. And that is number 4. Cardinals come home. They'll face Milwaukee. And a week from tonight, the 1964 World Series beer stein presented by Budweiser. That's for fans 21 and older. Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Big series coming up beginning next Friday night at Busch. So that's it for Joe Kelly, 4 2/3. Randy Choate coming on when we come back. Fun afternoon here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Well, move that you can see from both sides from Mike Matheny. You have Ryan Sweeney, who is homered and singled 4 RBIs against Joe Kelly. On the flip side, as you get a look at the numbers for Randy Choate and the Chevy call to the pen, you also think about a starting pitcher and getting him through 5 and having a chance to potentially get a win.
It's been a little bit of a labor here, though, for Joe Kelly. And you think back to him getting hit on the head with a line drive in the dugout, and just kind of the stress that he's been under here. He did go 7 innings his last time out and really wasn't as sharp this time as he was then. And there's so many factors that go into it. I'd like to see him stay in this inning, give him a chance to get the win. I think you want to build that into your starting pitcher. But I would say if there were guys in scoring position here, I might feel different about it. But it's not really a cut and dried thing. I think that's what makes baseball interesting, is there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just the manager rolling the dice. And he's rolling it with Randy Choate here. He believes this is an important at-bat. As hot as Sweeney has been here today, he doesn't want to gamble with him. And I think he believes that if he had Joe Kelly in right now, it would be a gamble. As good as Randy Choate has been against left-handers, you just have a high probability of him getting Sweeney out. So I understand it, but there's always so many factors going on in a move like this. And a manager's only as good as the player's execution.
1-2 the count. Amazing stat from this year's baseball season. Relievers per 9 are around 10 strikeouts. Think about that. I mean, offense is down this year, but the relievers, the power arms, and that is the highest it has ever been. ever. There's a ground ball that's hit to second, taken by Ellis, and Choate gets the final out of the 5th. They're tied up. It's 5-5 here in game 1. Jake Arrieta. Jake has been really good for the Chicago Cubs. Numbers, take a look at the ERA, 2.12. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Jim Hayes and Pat Paris. We'll have the pregame for you tomorrow at 2:30. And here's a lefty, the Chevy Colt to the pen, and Wesley Wright.
We've seen him before with the Astros and as well with the Cubs, and part of the two left-handed group for this Cub bullpen with James Russell, who I think has been very good against the Cardinals, but is shut down today. Again, the big losses they've had the last 2 days where they've had to go deep into their bullpen. So it's Wright today. The hard-throwing left-hander has a good slider.
The Cubs, you look at their bullpen, they've had 6 right-handers and 2 lefties, so they feel they need to be protected. They carry that extra reliever. Wesley Wright gets the call here. Joe Kelly, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, all were earned. 95 pitches today. As Jay greets a lefty with a base hit. How good has John Jay been against left-handed pitching?
Outstanding. Been better against lefties than right-handers. Keeps that front shoulder in and doesn't give in on that slider away. Tries to take the ball the other way or up the middle, and he does it again here to start out the Cardinals' 6th. There's the pitch from Wright. Middle in. Cardinals have hit a lot of balls hard today.
Yes, they have.
It's been a good sign.
Now Ellis, Travis Wood, by the way, 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 were earned. Walked 1, 5 strikeouts. Here's Ellis. Mark Ellis is lined out to first and popped out to first. Foul territory.
Cubs trying to see whether or not the Cardinals are bunting here. The moves to first base are not out of concern John Jay stealing, although he certainly could, but they're really trying to see if Mark Ellis will bring his hands up on the bat to show bunt or not. A little unsure at third base is Valbuena, who's about halfway in on the grass.
Wright fires to second, and a nifty play from the shortstop Castro to keep his toe on the bag. That almost went into center field. John Jay looked like he hesitated just a bit to see if this was going to be caught off the bat of Ellis.
You could tell the bunt was hard and he wasn't sure, and that throw a little wild and off balance. That's not really good fielding position for Wright. He needs to take a step towards the base, and he almost throws it away, and very athletic is Castro on the bat.
Now Tony Cruz.
That's a big miss right there.
Really is. 5-5 game. Cruz has singled to center, then was caught stealing and struck out in the fourth.
You know, there's a new group in baseball fandom. They're kind of the anti-bunting society. I'm not sure they have that name, but that's what I'll call them today, that they just believe that bunts are giving up precious outs, especially in a ballpark like Wrigley Field, and they don't believe the statistics ever kind of lead you to think that bunting is a good idea even when it works.
It's a wild pitch.
Well, that worked.
And Ellis off to second base.
Earl Weaver would have been maybe the original guy that thought that way back in the day with the Orioles, but I think folks that don't like giving up outs via the bunt really get mad when the bunt doesn't work. I believe they're calling that a pass ball.
Really?
Which I'm not sure I would agree with that.
Regardless, it's Ellis at second base. And a 1-0 pitch to Tony Cruz on its way. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. And the mindset behind that, Rick, is that you only have so many outs, so why give them away? That's part of the equation of looking at it with the society, if you will, that does not like to see a bunt.
We'll call it a club society. Not sure if they have a secret handshake or anything. Anti-bunting handshake. You think?
A couple tattoos. Third baseman will look back. Ellis at second base.
Don't bunt. I could see that.
It's got to go right on the left shoulder, right below your mom tattoo.
Well, they actually use something called run expectancy. And it kind of throws all numbers into a pot. And if you've got a guy on second base, what are the odds of getting him in? And the guy on first base and no outs, what are the odds? And they believe they can prove that bunts are overrated. I think it's worth thinking about.
So Taveras does not start against the lefty, but he'll pinch hit against the lefty. Can he come through? I was thinking if you were pinch hitting with, if you're going to go with a lefty, you could use Wong in this spot. Then he could stay in the game and you double switch him potentially with the reliever. And the other part of this equation is that you have a crack coming up later in the game. As you mentioned, James Russell not available, so you'll see the righty-lefty matchup. Let's see if Taveras can come through.
Well, Peter Borges would be an option here. And you got to go with who do you think is going to be your best option of driving in a run here. Now, Taveras, I think, hits lefties pretty well. And eventually, I see him as an everyday player in the big leagues playing against lefties and righties both. But not a lot of experience yet at this level.
Love to see him come through here. 1 ball, 1 strike. And he does. Base hit into left center field. Here comes Ellis. Oscar Taveras comes through. Big hit. 6-5 St. Louis.
They had the shift on for Oscar Taveras defensively. There's Castro, the shortstop. He is to the right of Ellis leading off of second base, and that ball hit in front of Ellis and into left field and hit with some authority by Oscar Taveras. And that's the kind of at-bat Dan, that gets you more playing time.
You see a scenario potentially that he stays in this game. There's still plenty of game left. Tavares is pinch hitting for Choate. Gave the Cardinals a third of an inning. And now it's Carpenter, who is 3 for 3. Kevin Segrist had been up and throwing. He's ready to go.
I really think you could just pick and choose wherever you want to put the pitcher spot. I think that's kind of overthought, overplayed sometimes in the way baseball is now, because you're only going to use a pitcher for an inning anyway. Like you have to worry about his spot coming up and then having a pinch hit for him, because there are very few relievers going more than an inning.
It's a good point in this situation here.
So just in my mind, leave Tavares in the game wherever you want to put him and put the pitcher in whoever spot you want to take out.
And a key in this inning, the pass ball.
Pass ball / wild pitch.
In my mind, it was a wild pitch, but ruled a pass ball. I know you were leaning in that direction a little bit too. See Carpenter, what he's done against Chicago, 10 RBIs, 10 of his 36 of the year have been against the Chicago Cubs.
About 4 for 4.
Every time you see Carpenter dip down into that 265 to 275 range, all of a sudden he just gets hot, and all of a sudden it's 300, and it's a 3 or 4 hit game, and it's multi-hit games.
So it's where you take the snapshot when you start thinking about the year of Matt Carpenter. You can say that about Holiday, some other players, but you can say that about the Cardinals in general. You took the snapshot about a week ago. You said, hey, everything's rosy.
And Carpenter waves at it. Strikes out. Oscar Tavares off the bench. RBI base hit. Cardinals back on top 6-5. Route for Chicago. However, the Cubs haven't won a playoff game since 2003. That year, Miami would beat the Cubs in that historic National League Championship Series, so they're just behind the Chicago Cubs in terms of National League drought. But a look at the franchises, the comparison of what they've done in postseason play. The longest drought right now overall is Kansas City, 1985, Toronto 93, Seattle 2001. Cardinals, by the way, have won 50 postseason games in that time of 2003 in that fateful Game 7 against the Marlins.
So a few ways to measure the drought: with pennants, with World Series championships, or with postseason wins. And the Cubs are really hungry for all three of them.
Good to see Kevin Seager's back, and he will get Emilio Bonifacio pinch hitting for Nate Schierholtz. Cardinals wanted to see Seager's go back-to-back in some of the appearances in the minor leagues. He did that last week. Last pitched on Sunday. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Cardinals were outstanding a year ago, 6, 7, 8, 9 inning with their bullpen. Seager's was a part of that. Seth Maness.
The base hitting to right for Emilio Bonifacio.
Rosenthal. And I think if this group can kind of get back to where they were, and you add Carlos Martinez into that, we may need a scoreless inning from Carlos Martinez in order to win this game.
With the added reliever that the Cubs carry, their bench is short, so they are down to Junior Lake from the right side and their backup catcher, John Baker, from the left side. That's all that's left on their bench. This is Justin Ruggiano. The other thing you talk about, too, bunting in the lower half of an order, which you pointed out, but also bunting in a game that is at Wrigley Field. I mean, there is a long way to go in this game. You get one in the air, it's a home run. I think that's part of the equation, too.
One of the many factors. I think you factor in the other team's ability to defend the bunt, too. I mean, how good a defense is it? I mean, there's some teams you'd want to put a little pressure on if you believe the pitcher or the infielders are a little shaky. That could lead you towards that. So many factors.
I was thinking that Mike Matheny would keep Taveras in the game, but that has not been the case. Taveras came in, pinch hit, pick up the RBI base hit. As you mentioned, Seagrist is in for an inning, so depending on where you wanted to put him in the lineup, it really didn't matter. You know, that spot is more than likely not going to come up, and if it does, you're using a pinch hitter.
Yeah, and what you normally do is, if you're going to bring in or keep your pinch hitter in, then you've got to obviously pick somebody else to take out, and you would normally want to do it with somebody who's made the last out of that inning. And I think what we're saying is, it's part of a double switch, but what we're saying is you don't really need to do that if you're going to pinch hit anyway for your pitcher, or if he's only going to throw an inning anyway. And you may have to use your bench up a little quicker. That is true. But I just think that's overplayed in baseball in general right now.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Ruggiano. Outfield is straight away and deep. It's been a tough afternoon for Craig. You could have seen potentially his spot with a couple of strikeouts.
I think
pitching on the hands.
The other thing to add to that, just to expand on that, is what we'd said about going back to the fact that Russell's not available today. We've already seen Wright. They have 2 left-handers, so the more lefties you get in the lineup right now, they're going to be facing a 100% right-handed bullpen the rest of this game.
And that was my point earlier. Yeah, no question about it. Here's a 2-2. Instead of check on the runner at first, we have a big Cardinal fan watching at home tonight. Never, or rather this afternoon, never misses a game. Steve Ryan, who's been in the hospital and dealing with some issues, but never misses a game, and we want to see him down at the ballpark very, very soon. and also Jim Ryan. Very close at first. Keep an eye on Bonifacio, but hopefully Jim is doing well, and Steve, we'll see you soon. Just blew it right by him, and there's a strikeout for Segrist, and that's his first, back off the disabled list.
Segrist did it last year with predominantly throwing fastballs, and that's what he threw there, up and down in the zone. Must be tough to pick up his fastball. He's got a long, lean body, and that delivery. Smooth. It must seem like the ball just jumps on you, and the fastball really is, when he's right, all he needs and all he throws.
Here's Chris Coughlin. Popped up on the first pitch. Holiday, a few steps in, makes the catch. 2 down. This week on Cardinals Kids Show. Live out your dreams at Fantasy Camp. Join Andy Bennis, the U-Man, and Fredberg. Cardinals Kids, brought to you by SSM and Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center, Saturday mornings at 11 on Fox Sports Midwest. I'm sure Rick Horton will be featured prominently on that show at the Fantasy Camp.
Andy Bennis actually did a great job with that. He was really the commissioner of that particular camp, and what a fun time it was.
Alcantara is 1 for 3. Twice is grounded out to second. And a bunt base hit back in the first.
I know that Mike Matheny has told us that he's going to be careful about how high a leverage situation you use Kevin Segrist, but at some point you have to use him, and this is a fairly high leverage situation. It's not the 8th, not the 9th, but a 1-run lead, very precarious. Good to see him back, isn't it?
Sure is. Popped up, Adams. Welcome back, Kevin Segrist. Leadoff hit, then he gets the next 3. It's one way to take in your nachos.
Peralta, Holiday, and Adams set to hit for the Cardinals. 6-5 Redbird lead. A couple of changes for the Chicago Cubs, Sweeney moves from center field to right field. Bonifacio stays in the game to play center field. And our Chevy call to the bullpen is Justin Grimm, the right-hander. He's had a bit of a rough season. ERA close to 5, and he has had some days where he has gotten hit. And 24 walks too many as well, with 43 innings out of the bullpen. And the Cubs bullpen has been up and down. At times they're good. Hector Rendon, we mentioned, is their closer. But all right-handed, Dan, from here on out.
Peralta on the first pitch. Deep in the hole. Long throw and up the line. And Johnny Peralta starts the 7th with a base hit. Second time that he's been aboard to go along with a walk.
Good range for Castro. Off balance throw. He might have been able to set and make a better throw, but I don't think he gets Peralta anyway. Castro's had some errors in his over the years, but a lot of them have been on the throw more so than the glove. Very talented hitter, Castro. I wonder what the noise is on the not the free agent market, but the trading market for a guy like Castro.
As you mentioned, there's a lot of prospects, and some of them are shortstops. They have a plethora of good shortstops in their system. Holiday with 2 hits. One of those a home run to tie it up. That was in the 5th. Singleton scored in the 1st and was called out on strikes in the 2nd inning. Largest crowd this season here at Wrigley Field is today. 41,534. 41534. Last few seasons, Holiday's been a really strong finisher. The final 2 months of the regular season, he's put up big numbers. Remember last year, his average climbed all the way to 300. Finished at 300. Two and 2.
4 unearned runs, the difference in the game today. Travis Wood was not helped by his defense in the 3-run Cardinal first. And then the pass ball, which we thought was a wild pitch, led to an unearned run in the 6th inning.
Well, as he is seeing the baseball, watch out on this 3-2 pitch. There goes the runner. Swung on and missed. And a stolen base for Peralta. So strikeout of Holiday. Seven strikeouts in this lineup for the Cardinals. Don't forget about MLB.tv. Catch all the second half action. And you can find it at Cardinals.com.
Was watching for the interference question again with Holiday striking out, and it looked as if Castillo actually slipped on home plate on that throw, kind of a wide, awkward throw, but it didn't have anything to do with Matt Holiday at the plate. By the way, if it is interference on the part of the batter's out, and the runner has to go back.
Now it's Adams, hitless today with a run scored. Better part of this season, Adams has led the league against right-handed pitching. He's at .361 at the start of play today. Tops in the National League. Came in second in the batting race to Troy Tulowitzki. fielder's choice, error on Alcantara back in the first, and then scored with a 2-out, 2 RBI double by John Jay. He's fly to left and fly to right. Cardinals lead it 6-5. The 1-1. Alan Craig is on deck. More and more we're seeing teams not shift against Adams. Now in this case, Castro, the shortstop, trying to keep the runner close, plus shifting a little bit, but the outfield actually shading him a bit the other way. Back-to-back Ks, and it brings in Craig. Time for the AT&T fan photo. Twice today, Alan Craig was called out on borderline pitches. That was in the first and the third. He's also flied out to left. That was on the track. Well, you'd love to see him come up with a big hit here. Give yourself a 2, maybe a 3-run lead. 2 outs, runner at second for the man that has been in his career dynamic with runners in scoring position. Breaking ball is taken low. Two and 0. John Jay on deck. Three balls and no strikes.
Dan, as you know, and you've heard me say many times, I'm a big Alan Craig fan, and certainly frustrated along with Alan and everybody else that his production hasn't been as good, but I still see him as being very jumpy at the plate. Even when he took those 3 pitches, his balance wasn't right. Not what we've seen before. There's just so much movement. And he looks uncomfortable at the plate almost on every pitch.
So walk to Craig. He brings in Jay. The head-to-head season series. Combined, we've got the 4 home runs, the 11 runs scored. Cardinals lead it by a game, and they lead this ball game by a run. Looking at the head-to-head. Chris Bosio out to visit, pitching coach with the Chicago Cubs.
Talking with Jim DeShays about this Cubs team and how young they are. He was talking about just how important the coaching staff is here in Chicago with Bosio and Rick Renteria, the manager.
Billy Miller as well.
Trying to find ways to stay positive with these young players, because it'd be very easy to look at the last 2 losses and just say, oh my goodness, what are we doing? And kind of just let that kind of affect the rest of the team, because there's no veteran player out there controlling things. They actually said Samardzija was pretty good at that when he was here, and he's not that old either. But he was kind of a guy that came to play every day and would kind of be vocal and hey, let's go, we're better than this. But there's no other player that does that. Rizzo's quiet. Castro's young. Who's going to do it?
Inside to Jay. That's why I wonder if they'll begin to get aggressive as they get better with these young players coming through, but get aggressive in free agency.
I think you make sure the young players are ready, then you do it. It's what the Cleveland Indians did in the late 90s. They said, we're going to lose for 3 years. They just said it. We're going to get these players to the big leagues who are good. Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, among others. And when they're ready, then we'll go get the pieces to help them learn how to play the game.
Sure.
Right. But why get them now? Why spend that money on them now when those guys aren't there? I think it made sense, and it makes sense for the Cubs.
2 balls and 1 strike. Jay came through with a big double back in the first inning. He's also single. The 2-1 pitch on its way. Well, instead he'll take a look. Inning started with an infield hit by Peralta. Back-to-back strikeouts of Holiday and Adams. The walk to Craig.
Think about that fiery leader that we're talking about the Cubs needing. I think the Cardinals have had some guys in the past around the trading deadline that have come in and done that kind of thing. Think of Will Clark.
Sure.
You think he's available? He doesn't have to play.
He was all over J.D. Drew.
Oh my, wasn't he ever? Unmerciful.
Jay with a fly ball out to left. Coughlin makes the catch. Time to stretch here at Wrigley. 6-5 St. Louis. Holiday with a home run today. Couple of runs scored. Travis Wood, 5 innings. The starter for Chicago. Sweeney, 2 for 3. The Mazda game summary. 6-5 St. Louis. Seager's still in the ball game, and he's got one man to get. That's Anthony Rizzo, we would assume, as Pat Neshek begins to throw in the pen. And just moments ago, Pat Brickhouse, widow of Jack Brickhouse, longtime announcer here with the Chicago Cubs, with our 7th inning stretch. Hey, hey! Famous call. Eric Carey replaced Brickhouse as voice of the Cubs after he retired. And that's when he brought his 7th inning singing tradition from Chicago's south side here to the north side.
We've had some fun people in this booth right next to us over the years, haven't we?
Eddie Vedder was there last night. Lead singer of Pearl Jam.
Bill Murray, Jim Belushi, Ditka.
This ball is hammered down the right field line and pulled foul. Under the street, Sheffield is count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike on Rizzo, who is 1 for 3. T-shirt is 120, you could see on that clock, and that's the daytime starts of many of their games, and there's the clock that you see on the scoreboard here at the ballpark.
I don't know how to read clocks anymore. Our generation, Dan, is all about the numbers.
You're digital.
Yeah. But I get it now that you explained it to me. Thank you.
Well, that wasn't Flavor Flav. It was just a T-shirt. And about 10% of our audience got that. Okay. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Rizzo. And he hit him. So the tying run is aboard.
It's the second slider that he's thrown in the inning, and not a good result. The first one kind of spun, and so did this one.
How about you? I'm a little surprised that we see Seager still in this game. I mean,
yeah, there's another lefty up next in Valbuena.
I've got it, but
I thought he'd be out here too.
Just coming off the DL, so we'll see if it works out. The pitch taken just a bit low. Castro with an infield hit that was back in the 5th. He was hit number 109 of his season.
He has the most hits of any shortstop in baseball since 2011.
And he chops it left side, and that'll be a foul ball off his foot. 1 ball, 1 strike.
662 hits now since the beginning of the 2011 season. And he did have an off year a year ago. Slugging percentage just 347. Really an off year for Castro. His power numbers, home runs and RBIs already have exceeded what he did a year ago.
They talked about his approach and being much more aggressive. And last year, they felt he got passive. But the idea was they wanted him to draw more walks. They threw that out the window. Billy Miller said, just go be the player that you want to be, how you're comfortable. If strikeouts come along with it, we'll take it. But start hitting the ball like we know you can hit it too.
You know, it's a little bit like the golfer who's hitting the ball down the middle every time, and then they think, well, you know, if you do put a little draw on this, you'll get an extra 10 yards, and you'll maybe be hitting a lower club into the green, and then you try to do that. You hook one left, then you slice one right, and you say, wait a minute. What was the matter with being right down the middle? It's understandable, though. You try to get better, but sometimes you go backwards.
There's no doubting his talent either. Very talented player. Two balls and 2 strikes. Very short lead by Rizzo at first base. The velocity has not been at that 96, at times 97 that we've seen in the past from Segrist, but I'm sure that will come. He was consistently on his rehab assignment in that 93 to 94 range.
Which is enough if he's hitting his spot.
Pitch number 23 from the big lefty, and swing and a miss. He chased a pitch out of the zone. Luis Valbuena walked and scored twice and also popped out.
As we've been reporting all the way through the rehab assignment of Segrist, it's been a kind of an odd injury for him that really started out as kind of a forearm issue and then ended up as a kind of middle of his shoulder, middle of his back issue too. And so they're really getting treated on two different fronts. And really a big question about when he would come back was that he felt terrible, but he just didn't feel right. And you know, that's one of the things with pitchers now, Dan, that are coming out of the bullpen, striking out guys, as you mentioned early in the telecast, at such high rates. They're used to, boy, I can't pitch unless I have my 97, 98, or that's where I'm comfortable. That's what I do. And if you don't have it, what's your plan B?
On the air, out to center. Jay back at the wall, and it's gone. Cubs on top 7-6. Luis Valbuena.
Another back and forth Wrigley game. Ball away. Valbuena knows he hit it. He's pointing somewhere. I'm not sure to who. Into the first row.
Matt Neshek coming on. And Rick, we've got a double switch, don't we?
Alan Craig now out of the game. Peter Borges takes over in center field. John Jay moves from center field to right. There's John, and Neshek will bat in the fifth spot in the Cardinals lineup. And we'll see Borges in the top of the eighth. It'll be 7, 8, 9 for the Cardinals in the eighth inning, but it just feels like there is a ton of baseball left in this game, Dan. It's just one of those classic Wrigley Field games. The wind is blowing out, not terribly so, but enough to make it interesting.
Wellington Castillo is 2 for 3. Late with that swing. So an inning and a third for Siegrist. First game back, and I'm sure that's one of the question marks for Mike Matheny after the game will be extending Siegrist and trying to get him as far as he could.
It all starts with Joe Kelly going just 4 2/3 innings and creates a lot of outs to get in your bullpen. And how do you do them in the best way possible? How does everybody execute to make the decisions work out? And Siegrist not able to execute against the second left-hander he was given there in the 7th inning. I'm sure a stretch for him, again coming off the rehab assignment, but frustrating nonetheless.
Ryan Sweeney is 2 for 3. And he looks at his strike. Only in the 7th. Big day for Sweeney with 4 RBIs. 4 of the 7 for Chicago. Another strike from Nischet. Ground ball that's hit to second. Mark Ellis makes the play. We head to the 8th. 2-run homer by Luis Valbuena. Cubs on top. Studio and a Bomberito Sports Update with Pat Paris. All right, guys, thanks. Neil Ramirez is into the ball game, his 33rd appearance. Hard throwing right-hander. Chevy called to the pen. Cardinals have Ellis, Cruz, and Borges coming up, and they'll pinch hit Colton Wong for Ellis. And here's a look at the news and notes. The Brewers have won 4 straight. They've got the Mets tonight. Cincinnati has not won since the break. They've got Washington and Pittsburgh on 5 of 6. They're at Colorado. Alfredo Simon going for Cincinnati. Yvonne Gallardo going for Milwaukee. And Charlie Morton tonight going for Pittsburgh. Cardinals and Pirates tied 3 games back of Milwaukee. There's Colton Wong. He'll be the pinch hitter. Cardinals left with Kataris and Descalso on their bench.
Wong has provided a spark lately, and it's been with power, not just getting on base, but he's been a guy that's hit with power. I think his hands are lower. Mentioned that. We noticed it, Dan. The last time we saw Colton play, he just seems to have a very comfortable, kind of relaxed, not at all uptight look at the plate. And you know, there are times where he's pressed in his rookie season. That mostly came in the early going, but he's made some great contributions.
Here's a 2-0.
Ramirez for the Cubs has been, as you went over the numbers, their best.
And Ricky is a power pitcher. He's walked just 10 in his 32 outings prior to today. As Wong greets him with a base hit into center field. He's striking out close to 12 per 9 to give you an idea of just how good he's been. So the tying run is aboard.
Let me get the anti-bunting society on the phone and see what you do here. Got Tony Cruz at the plate, trailing by a run in the 8th inning. Borges now hitting in the 9th spot. He's on deck. Good speed at first base and Colton Wong. I got their answer. They said don't bunt.
I'd like to see him just straight steal. I mean, he's good enough to do that. Then your anti-bunting society would have maybe more to chew on.
The ABS is growing in numbers. Even have an acronym.
Nice. The check on Wong. Tony Cruz singled. He was to center field in the 2nd inning, then was caught stealing. He struck out swinging and also grounded out to 3rd. If you're wondering, Colton Wong, in terms of stolen bases, with 12 to lead the club, he's been caught stealing twice.
A very high percentage in his professional career. Only got thrown out once a year ago, only twice this year. I think the other issue you deal with the bunt, I think which we've seen over the years, is the bunt doesn't always work. Just because you're giving up the out doesn't mean you always accomplish the goal anyway of getting the runner from 1st to 2nd.
Case in point, back in the 6th with Mark Ellis. Two balls, no strikes, and Cruz is in the driver's seat here.
Big meeting on the mound. Now everybody's invited. All the infielders, the outfielders, I guess, aren't invited. But Chris Bosio now joining this discussion. And first I thought that Castillo saw that perhaps Ramirez had too much attention on Wong at first base and wasn't focusing on the pitch to the plate. That's something a catcher can often see, Dan, even looking at the eyes of the pitcher. You can tell if he's not really focused on you, and that's one thing speed will do for you. Decent lead. See the little false start that Wong did, just trying to time it, trying to get that momentum going towards second base just in case. You get that good jump, maybe you go.
Not running. 2-1. Playing umpires hearing it from Mike Matheny.
Yeah, the Wolf of Clark Street didn't like that call either.
I like it.
That being Tony Cruz's walk-up song.
Right.
For those who haven't had a chance to hear that yet.
It's gone viral.
Another hit and run count.
I did the same thing. There he goes. A 2-1 pitch taken inside. Throw to second. And Wong is safe. And we may have a review here. I'm not sure if he came off the bag. If he did, the tag was not held on. Did they put it back on him quickly enough?
He's safe there.
Ooh.
The tag not on him. Now, I think he's safe still. But you can understand why Castro was calling for Rick Renteria to come out. Now the waiting game. Now the phone call.
Okay, they'll review it. Why not take a chance? You know, they may have a different look at it than we do.
He's safe there. Well, when does the hand come off the bag? He's safe there. But was the tag still on him? I think he's going to be safe.
More and more I see replay, the more and more I think that the biggest adjustment Major League Baseball will make is that there's going to be a time limit on this next year. I think they've done a very good job with it, but I think it's one thing that you have to look at. I mean, we're talking about a key spot in the game right now. 1-run lead in a pennant race in the 8th inning.
The more I see the replays, Dan.
Let me just finish. I mean, you want to see the play right. You want to call it right, but you break up the momentum of this game right now. It's 3-1 on Tony Cruz with the tying run at second base.
Yeah, I mean, it's not everybody's favorite thing to kind of have this little lull right here while you're waiting, and 2 minutes seems like an eternity, which is the average time for the replay. But the more I've seen the replay, my predominant thought is umpires are pretty good.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I know that's not a popular statement, but that's how I feel about it. I think the quick nature of the calls they have to make and how right they've been. But roughly 50% of the time they're right on reviewed plays. And that's not to mention all the other calls they make where they're right on. This is the ones that are in question. As we thought and as we hoped.
So the call stands.
Meaning not confirmed. Chalk it up to the inconclusive. Where's the glove? Right now.
Took 2 minutes, the replay, and Cruz a good hack at it. Tying run in scoring position, 7-6 Chicago, 3-2 the count on Cruz. Trying to keep Wong close at second base, room to the right side. Another good cut by Tony Cruz.
You'd like to see Tony Cruz get the runner to third base at the very least. Multiple ways to do that. Hit the ball to the right side. Ball that goes to the shortstop's left.
Three-two pitch on its way. Cruz hits it to short. Castro and Wong hung up, and now he definitely does. Wong trying to stay in the rundown, and Cruz still at the bag at first. Now he's off the bag at first and off to second base. Got off his spot. You could see him just standing there, and had to make sure that Wong stayed in the rundown just long enough.
Of the multiple ways you can go from second to third, this isn't one of them. A ball hit in front of you hard right at the shortstop, so Wong is out to dry, but a poorly executed rundown by Castro's the shortstop, and as well as the third baseman Valbuena, allows Tony Cruz to sneak into second base. That should not have happened from the Cubs' point of view defensively, but really a base running error for Wong. The defensive error may be even worse, allowing Cruz to get to second base.
Cubs will take that change with Cruz at second, Wong on the bench now. And Cruz advancing to third. So a chance here for Peter Borges. So many options here with Peter.
Ball right in the middle of the plate, and instead of blocking it, tried to backhand it. We've seen that a lot this year, a lot more than I remember seeing it in the last few years. Instead of the catcher smothering it, I think they're reading that ball in the dirt differently and trying to just glove it instead of smothering it. Said the Cardinals had to get to the runner to third base somehow, some way. I wasn't even thinking of that way.
No. So the infield in. 7-6 Chicago. Peter Borges at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Cruz the runner at third. The 2-0. Borges pops it up. Is it playable? It is.
Castillo has a tough ball to handle behind home plate, but the Cubs were making sure that Cruz wasn't going to tag up and try to score on this. Look at everybody covering home plate. Castro comes in, Valbuena, Rizzo, the pitcher. Another team meeting right there at home plate. And a big miss for the Cardinals. By the way, Dan, the Anti-Bunting Society is now trending on Twitter. At least on my feed it is.
Well, Carpenter with a home run today, 2 runs scored, 3 for 4. Can he come through again? Oh, almost put that to the backstop. Nobody throwing in the Cubs pen. Nobody throwing in the St. Louis pen.
Ramirez is certainly throwing and perhaps overthrown.
Cardinals had Colton Wong at second base, nobody out, and 3-1 count on Tony Cruz. Now it's 1-0, 2 outs, still no runs scored.
We've seen this situation so many times where Carpenter works the deep count, kind of hits a soft liner over the third baseman's head, battling in his at-bat. Don't be surprised if that doesn't happen right here. With Cruz the tying run at third. Seems so locked in here today.
2 strikes. Here come the fans.
Sometimes the game is won or lost in the 8th.
The 1-2.
That was that Carpenter swing, Dan, trying to just flare that one to left, line it over the third baseman. We've seen it so many times, the protective at bat, spoiling a tough pitch, getting another life.
Time call. Runner at second, nobody out, 3-1 count. Cardinals don't score, they trail 7-6. Bonifacio, Ramirez, and Coughlin coming up. 7-6 Cubs. Pat Neshek stays in the game. And a strike at the knees. That got the final 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
Neshek is having an extraordinary year. Makes the All-Star team. Finding ways to get left-handers out. That changeup you just saw there has become more and more of a weapon for him. The confidence is just exuding from Pat Neshek right now. I know the All-Star game didn't work out the way he wanted it to. But he has been solid out of the Cardinals bullpen. Umpire's gotten banged up a bit today. Mike Malinsky. Tony Cruz giving him time.
Emilio Bonifacio, the 1-2. There's a changeup again at 69 miles an hour. That's 3, Emilio.
Just can't count high enough.
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. How about that changeup, huh? 69 again from Neshek. Cardinals will have coming up Peralta, Holiday, and Adams.
The changeup has made Neshek sneaky quick.
Sure has.
You've talked a lot about how he's using his fastball more regularly this year, but I think the off-speed stuff still makes that tougher to track his fastball, and he just kind of jumps at you and fires it.
Also makes you think about another pitch. You know,
right.
You've got fastball, slider, now changeup. One and 2 the count.
Dan, unofficially, Tim Trocchi has been, Tim being our post-game producer, has been elected the first president of the Anti-Bunting Society.
Really?
Just breaking news.
You get a card with that society?
Yeah, and you get a little, their tagline is "We put the brakes on bunting." ABS.
You were up all night thinking of this.
Just thought of it.
3-2, hit out of play.
We'll try to get inside of my brain, Danny Mac. Very confusing.
A lot of moving parts.
To be sure.
3-2 pitch. Another changeup, and Peralta is there. And makes a play. So they're down to Junior Lake on their bench after John Baker is retired. Reminder that all kids ages 15 and younger entering with a ticket receive their very own Cardinals backpack. It's courtesy of Delta Airlines. It's coming up next Saturday, a week from tomorrow. It's also Christian Day at the ballpark and featured speaker Marcus Luttrell. So 2 outs. How about Pat Neshek here again? He's putting up zeros as that's another changeup at 68 miles an hour. We haven't seen many of the sliders here in this appearance.
Uses that more against right-handers anyway, but the changeup using more and more.
Up the middle, and Neshek was knocked down. He almost made the play. And a base hit for Coghlan. Cardinals with a lefty throwing in the pen. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. So Sam Freeman coming on. Neshek almost made that play. He's done just about everything right this year. The story in this game, this tied it up. The Nissan drive of the game. That was early on. Cardinals had some blasts of their own. Matt Carpenter, Matt Holliday, that tied it up. And the big one, Luis Valbuena. A 2-run homer off of Segras back in the 7th. Alcantara comes into the ball game as a switch hitter from this side of the plate. He's facing lefties. He's 143. And a strike at the knees on the outside corner. The Chevy Colt to the pen brings us Sam Freeman.
Cardinals will be in the right part of the order in the top of the 9th. 2, 3, and 4. The game that's gone back and forth. St. Louis hoping for one more turn. Nice block there by Tony Cruz on the ball in the dirt. One thing you don't think about is with the increased velocity from pitchers, that creates an increased reaction time need for catchers to try to block balls in the dirt and pitch high in the zone, and it gets on you in a hurry.
This is not to knock Tony Cruz, because we've seen other catchers have their issues, but the other night what really stood out to me in the game is how much we do take for granted how good, unbelievably good, Yadier Molina is. There was a couple of balls that got away from Cruz where he blocked him. It's almost like a goalie in hockey. Sometimes they're able to control the shot, so where your rebound, isn't going anywhere else. And Cruz had the ball scoot away where runners advanced on 2 of those times. They came around to score. Now that won't show up in your scorebook, but how many times does Molina keep that? And again, it's not a shot at Cruz. No. It's just Molina's on a different level than anybody else.
Right.
Just makes you appreciate how good he is. Freeman comes in, walks the first man he sees, and that puts a runner in scoring position. The Cardinals have scored 6 today. That means any size coffee, fountain, and frozen drink, just 50 cents all day tomorrow at On the Run. Here's Rizzo. Did not go.
It was clearly the guy that Sam Freeman wanted. Issuing a walk, now you got to face their best.
Bases loaded, and Rizzo is hit for the second time. Got your right-hander ready in the pen. And here comes Mike Matheny. Castro at the plate.
Mike Matheny trying to stall as long as he can to make sure Maness gets ready. You can't let this game get away here in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing by just 1 run. And now that the umpire is there, he calls for Seth Maness, the right-hander, and as soon as Rizzo, Dan, was hit by the pitch, Mike Matheny wanted to make sure they hurried up. It'll be Seth Maness when we come back.
And this will be his 45th appearance, and he'll get Castro trying to keep this a 1-run Chicago lead.
2 quick outs here in the 8th inning. And then a base hit by Coughlin, a walk and a hit by pitch, and now you've got a tense situation for Chevy, called to the bullpen, Seth Maness. Ground ball specialist needs an out desperately. Castro 1 for 4, base hit in the 5th.
Game goes extra innings. I'm sure the Cardinals would feel protected because they have Carlos Martinez available in the pen. So you have your pseudo long man. Have to get there first.
Goes extra innings. The Cubs won't feel very protected.
Exactly.
On the offensive side. Who's their extra catcher?
They've got Junior Lake on their bench, and that's it. Position players. Good changeup. Strike, and it goes Maness' way. Peralta, Holiday, Adams coming up in the final hope for St. Louis here at Wrigley. A wild game, to say the least, here at Wrigley, but you come to expect that. After all these years here, you know that you're going to see some of those crazy type games. It's been back and forth, long afternoon of baseball. Hector Rondon gets 2, 3, and 4 in the order for St. Louis. I get the feeling this game is long from being done.
Well, as crazy as it's been, the Cardinals are hoping that the game gets even crazier here in the 9th inning, as opposed to a quick inning from their closer, Rendon.
That'll help. One pitch, one out. Two runs scored today for Holiday. 2 for 4. Solo home run back in the 5th. And Holiday shoots it in the gap in right center. That ball gets down for a base hit. There you go. The tying run is aboard.
It looks like the Cardinals' approach on Rondon is he's got put away finishing pitches.
Exactly.
So don't let him get deep in the count. Go up swinging.
Yep.
Peralta did it. Made an out. Holiday does it. Gets a hit. You know, our Fox Sports Midwest friends and sponsors need a baseball.
Souvenir off the bat of Adams. Let's see. Outside. There's so many questions about this game. Missed opportunities. Again, he's hitting .361 against righties. Best in the National League.
Oh, pretty good hack right there.
The 1-1. Playable. 2 down.
That ball looked like it was about 2 or 3 rows deep. Credit Valbuena for staying with it. Came back into play, and the Cardinals now down to their last out.
Chris Bosio, 2 outs to visit with his right-hander. Scouting report, I'm sure, on Descalso will be the pinch hitter for St. Louis. George Gataris, the last hope for St. Louis, off the bench potentially. Ryan Sweeney is your player of the game. Big 3-run homer to tie it up. Cardinals had a 3-run lead. They've had a lead a couple of times in this game. So Descalso, 5 for 22 as a pinch hitter. Couple of RBIs. With 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. The tying run at first base. Cardinals down to their final strike in what could be one of their most disappointing losses of the year in my mind. It's still a strike to go. Descalso come through. The 0-2. See, that gentleman had his recorder out to make sure and catch the history of what could be win number 50 this 2014 season for the Cubs.
With his nervous son hanging on. Dad, I can't look. We can do it.
Scalzo would love to make it a 2-run homer. The 2-2. Good at bat here by Daniel.
He's battling. Cubs have had relievers here in the 8th and the 9th with very good stuff. Ramirez in the 8th, now Rondon in the 9th.
Would it be something if Descalso could quiet this crowd? Mott and Rosenthal start to throw. The 2-2. She did. Popped up.
Tough loss for the Cardinals. 7-6 your score. The Cardinals with a big chance in the 8th inning. Runner at second base and nobody out, failed to score. And the Cubs hang on in the 8th. They hang on in the 9th. And that's how this road trip starts.
Post game next.